Have you ever watched an old tree endure a storm? Its trunk bends but never breaks. The wind may rage, the rain may batter, but that tree stands tall because its roots are alive, deep, and quietly strong. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara once said that the secret to long life isn't in resisting time, but in nourishing what's hidden beneath the surface. Muscles, like roots, do their most important work in silence, especially at night. And yet, for many after 60, each morning begins with the same quiet complaint. Heavy legs, stiff joints, that uncertain moment when you wonder if your knees will hold as you rise from the bed. It seems small, but that feeling of weight, of hesitation, is often the first signal. The body doesn't shout when it begins to lose muscle. It whispers, and those whispers come at night. This isn't just about growing older. It's about a slow, invisible process that begins while you sleep. Muscle loss doesn't only happen in gyms or through injury. For many, it begins between the hours of rest, when the body should be repairing, renewing, and restoring, but lacks the right support. You may have heard that a light snack before bed is harmless. Just a handful of nuts, they say. It's better than sweets. But not all nuts are your allies. In fact, some may quietly sabotage your muscle recovery, especially if chosen without intention. There is a difference between feeding a craving and feeding a body that longs to remain strong. Dr. Mark Hyman once wrote, "Healing and regeneration don't sleep. They work through the night." And that's what many forget. The night is not just a pause, it's a process. Your muscles, your cells, your immune system, they are all busy, even as you rest. The question is, are you giving them what they need to do their job? Or are you unknowingly making that work harder? In this video, I want to share something simple but deeply powerful. 3 specific nuts. Yes, just 3. That can become true protectors of your muscles through the night. These are not miraculous solutions. They are natural companions, rooted in both modern science and ancestral wisdom. Chosen well, they do more than satisfy hunger. They help seal the leaks of muscle loss, calm inflammation, and support strength as you age. Not through force, but through quiet consistency. Stay with me. What we'll talk about today could gently shift the way your body wakes up tomorrow. Beware of salted peanuts that sabotage overnight muscle recovery. The taste of something salty before bed can be comforting. It feels familiar, even harmless. A small pleasure to end the day. Many reach for a handful of salted peanuts without thinking twice. It's a habit formed over years, maybe decades. But there's a quiet cost hidden beneath that comfort. That small handful, especially when eaten alone, without balance or intention, may be interfering with one of the body's most delicate nighttime tasks: muscle repair. When the body enters its nightly rhythm, it isn't just resting, it is rebuilding. Muscles, strained by movement or weakened by time, begin their silent reconstruction. But when too much salt enters the bloodstream without accompanying nutrients, the body holds on to water. That retention doesn't hydrate the muscles, it bloats them. And instead of repair, there's stiffness. Instead of renewal, a kind of silent swelling that leads to discomfort by morning. You wake not refreshed, but heavy, as if something inside you has inflated in all the wrong places. The deeper problem lies not just in the salt, but in the absence of what should be there: magnesium, potassium, essential fats, and the amino acids that gently stitch muscle fibers back together. Salted peanuts, stripped of their natural oils and over-roasted, become a snack that satisfies the tongue but leaves the deeper layers of the body forgotten. It's a quiet betrayal, one that many people over 60 fall into, not out of carelessness, but out of routine. There's a kind of tension many older adults carry at night, the desire to enjoy something flavorful, something that feels like a reward at the end of the day, and the need to care for a body that no longer bounces back the way it once did. That conflict shows up in the little things, in the snack chosen at 9 o'clock, in the way the knees feel at 7 the next morning. But this isn't about blame, it's about gentle shifts. Imagine this instead: a small bowl with raw almonds and unsalted pumpkin seeds. No bright packaging, no added flavors, just food as it once was. Together they offer texture, quiet energy, and nutrients that nourish without noise. They don't flood the system, they support it. Magnesium to calm the nerves, zinc to encourage tissue repair. A quiet encouragement to the muscles saying, "You are not forgotten." Because the goal isn't to eliminate pleasure, it's to return to a pleasure that heals. Think of your muscles like roots in the soil. At night, they're not sleeping. They are drinking, drawing, searching. They need to be fed, not flooded. And what you choose before you close your eyes can be the difference between waking up ready to move or waking up wondering why your legs feel like sandbags. You want your roots irrigated, not drowned. Why almonds at night support protein synthesis in seniors. There's something quiet about almonds. No bright color, no overwhelming flavor, just a clean, soft crunch and a lasting nourishment that doesn't need to announce itself. In their simplicity, almonds carry a kind of wisdom, the kind of food our ancestors might have carried in their pockets or mixed into evening meals without knowing the science, but feeling the strength that came from it. As the body ages, so does its hunger for repair, but that hunger becomes more delicate. Many people over 60 eat less at night, either by choice or because digestion feels slower. The plate becomes smaller, the flavors lighter, but there's a silent consequence. When protein is skipped in the evening, the body is left without the raw materials it needs to maintain its strength. It's like trying to rebuild a house without bricks. The work is still needed, but the hands are empty. Almonds, though small, are builders. Inside each one lives a quiet force. Arginine, leucine, and other amino acids that stimulate the process of muscle regeneration. These aren't loud nutrients. They don't create heat or cause a rush. They work slowly, faithfully, keeping the machinery of repair moving even while you sleep. Paired with magnesium and natural vitamin E, almonds also calm the nervous system, reduce oxidative stress, and help prepare the body for a deeper, more productive rest. And this isn't just theory. In the Blue Zone communities of Sardinia, where elders routinely live into their 90s and beyond with clarity and movement, it is common to end the day with a light handful of mixed nuts, often with a warm infusion, never with sugar or processed snacks. For them, it's not a health trend. It's tradition, a closing ritual of the day that feeds not only the body, but also a sense of peace. You don't need many. 10 almonds are enough, especially when combined with something like ground hibiscus, which aids digestion and adds a subtle floral tone. Together, they create a nighttime snack that doesn't burden the stomach, doesn't spike blood sugar, and doesn't shout for attention. Instead, it whispers to your muscles, "You can rest now, help is on the way." Because this isn't about protein for the sake of numbers. It's about presence, a gentle presence of nutrition at the hour when your body is most vulnerable to loss. And that small act of choosing almonds over absence is not small at all. It's the difference between fading and recovering, between stillness and strength. These almonds, humble as they may seem, are like quiet guardians. They do not let your muscles sleep alone. Pistachios is the low-carb ally that fights inflammation while you sleep. There's a reason pistachios are so often found in quiet rituals, in bowls at family gatherings, in pockets during long walks, in bedside drawers of those who still savor life slowly. They carry the color of earth and the scent of something both ancient and nourishing. But beyond their pleasant taste, pistachios hold something more subtle, a protective force that works while you rest. As we age, one of the quietest enemies of muscle health is low-grade inflammation. It doesn't scream, doesn't always ache, it simply lingers, wearing down tissue, interrupting the repair process, and leaving you feeling weaker with each passing season. And many times, this inflammation begins with something as simple as what you eat after dinner. A piece of cake, a biscuit, a slice of bread with jam, all innocent on the surface, but beneath, they flood the bloodstream with sugars that trigger the release of insulin. And when insulin rises, the body shifts from rebuilding to storing. Muscles pause their work, inflammation rises, and the long hours of sleep become a missed opportunity for healing. Pistachios change that equation. With their delicate balance of healthy fats, plant-based protein, and slow-digesting carbohydrates, they provide energy without excess. They don't overwhelm the system. Instead, they steady it. Each shell protects not just a seed, but a pattern of nutrients that the body recognizes and welcomes, especially in the calm of night. Studies with older adults have shown that pistachios, when consumed before sleep, can lower markers of inflammation by morning. Not dramatically, not instantly, but enough to make a difference over weeks, over months. Enough to feel it in the knees that no longer swell, in the hands that close more easily. What makes pistachios even more special is how they pair. A small portion, just enough to fill the palm, alongside a piece of fresh white cheese, like a slice of low-fat Minas cheese, creates a union of protein and fat that slows digestion and extends support through the night. It's not a heavy meal. It's not a diet. It's nourishment that listens to the rhythms of the aging body. A meal that doesn't wake you up, it watches over you. You might think of pistachios as night watchmen, quiet, steady, present. They don't stop the years, but they guard what time often tries to take. The integrity of your tissues, the softness of your joints, the ability to rise from a chair without needing to push off with both hands. Not all solutions need to be loud. Some come in green shells with silent strength. Blended nuts plus cottage cheese are the perfect combo to seal muscle leaks overnight. There is something profoundly human about mixing food with your own hands. It awakens a memory of a mother preparing a quiet evening meal, of a grandmother stirring something simple but nourishing in the kitchen's soft light. This kind of ritual, gentle and humble, still has a place in the lives of those who understand that strength doesn't only come from movement. It also comes from stillness, from knowing what your body needs when the world becomes quiet. Too often, the habit of eating one single nut, a lone almond, a casual pistachio, or a piece of walnut, is treated as enough. For a moment, it satisfies, but only for a moment. The truth is, while that small bite may soothe the senses, it rarely delivers the complete nourishment the body is quietly asking for. Muscles, especially after 60, need more than a quick gesture. They need a blend, a thoughtful combination that mimics the complexity of what aging tissues truly require to stay whole. That's where the pairing of nuts with a gentle dairy protein comes in. Cottage cheese, for example, may not be glamorous, but it carries a slow-burning protein called casein, one that moves through the body gradually, offering amino acids to the muscles hour after hour through the night. When blended with the healthy fats and fiber of nuts, it becomes more than a snack. It becomes a shield, a silent repair kit, a night-long message to your tissues. You are supported. You are not being forgotten. In Okinawa, where some of the world's oldest women live not only long lives but mobile ones, this idea of combining tofu or cheese with small portions of nuts has existed for generations. It's not a strategy. It's simply what made sense. A food that lasts. A nourishment that follows the rhythm of the body rather than fighting it. They understood that aging didn't mean reducing care. It meant refining it, honoring it. One spoon of cottage cheese, gently stirred with crushed almonds, walnuts, and pistachios, is enough. It doesn't require heat, or a recipe, or a stove. Only attention, only presence. You're not feeding hunger alone. You're sealing the slow leaks that happen when the body goes too long without renewal. You're filling the cracks left by time, and doing so with something real. There's something tender in that, in choosing to care for yourself, not with noise or discipline, but with softness, like a warm blanket in winter, like a voice saying, "I'm still here, I still matter." That simple mix, that modest gesture at night becomes a kind of embrace, not just for the body, but for the years behind you and the strength still ahead. It is the embrace your muscles have been waiting for. Soft, nourishing, and lasting. Conclusion. At the end of each day, when the house grows quiet and the lights are low, there's a moment, often unnoticed, where the body begins to shift inward. It prepares to rest, but also to heal. What happens in those hours between lying down and rising again is not simply sleep. It's the slow, invisible work of restoration. And for those in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, this nighttime work is no longer optional. It's essential, because the loss of strength doesn't announce itself with a bang. It comes in small signals, a knee that feels uncertain, a hand that struggles to open a jar, a morning stiffness that wasn't there last year. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, who lived and worked well into his hundreds, spoke often of the roots that nourish what's seen. He believed that vitality in later life wasn't about resisting age. It was about supporting what age cannot take away. Like tree roots drawing quiet strength from the soil, our muscles, especially as we grow older, need a source of nourishment that continues through the night. That nourishment is no longer found in large dinners or heavy meals. It's found in what you offer your body when the world isn't looking, when you're alone with your thoughts, your breath, and your hunger for something gentle. This is where the role of food changes. It's no longer about appetite. It becomes about intention. And few foods carry the quiet strength of nuts, almonds, pistachios, walnuts. These are not new discoveries. They've sat in ceramic jars on the shelves of grandmothers for generations. They've been passed down as part of family routines, shared without explanation, just trust. And now, science begins to confirm what tradition always knew. These simple foods carry the power to protect muscle, calm inflammation, and extend the life of strength itself. But even more than that, they offer a kind of companionship. In a life where many older adults live alone, after children have moved away, after a spouse has passed, or simply because of time, there is something meaningful in preparing a small bowl for oneself. A ritual that doesn't require applause or approval. A choice made in silence for the sake of health. Not to impress, but to endure. Not to chase youth, but to care for the body that still wants to move, still wants to rise without help, still wants to live on its own terms. Dr. Peter Attia said it plainly. Strength is not the goal, it is the vehicle. And he is right. Strength in this season of life is not about weightlifting or breaking records. It's about independence. It's about feeling safe walking across the room. It's about confidence in your own body, even if it moves slower now. And that strength doesn't arrive from supplements or machines. It begins with what you feed yourself at the hour when your body is most ready to listen. So many people think aging means restriction, eating less, doing less, expecting less. But maybe it means something else. Maybe it means choosing better, feeding not just hunger but function, letting go of snacks that flood the body with salt or sugar, and embracing what sustains. A spoonful of cottage cheese with crushed nuts, a handful of pistachios beside a slice of soft cheese, almonds paired with a calming tea. These are not meals. They are gestures of care. Quiet affirmations that say, I still matter. I still choose to support my body. And that is what changes everything. Not overnight, not dramatically, but surely. A few weeks of consistent care, and the legs feel lighter. The hands close with more certainty. The mind wakes up with fewer clouds. Not because of a miracle, but because of a ritual. Because of choices made not from fear, but from wisdom. Let this night be different. Not perfect, just different. Let the silence be filled not with absence, but with presence. The presence of food that restores, of care that continues, of strength that remembers. Aging may change the shape of life, but it doesn't take away the power to nourish it. Not if you're still here, not if you're still listening. And if you are, then know this. There is still time. There is still strength. And sometimes it begins with something as small as a nut,